Take two. Because what we don't do is give up around here. We don't give up. We don't give up. We just end the live, start it again. Okay? So hopefully Dionne will come back and we'll get him and we'll go back to where we started. Okay? Take three. All right? Take three. Here he is. Here he is. He could come through and that like, no, Sherry. I can't bring you on, Sherry.
The devil is
We ain't giving up.
liar. The devil is a liar. Come
Devil
on now.
is a liar.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Come
So,
on.
okay. MTV, I remember watching MTV. They were having something called Spanking New Music Week. And every day they were spotlighting new music from huge artists. And I was waiting for Whitney's day. She was promoting My Love Is Your Love. And what was his name? Norris. John Norris had brought her out onto the TRL set, and she spent the day at MTV. And then a super fan had the awesome and jealousy-inspiring opportunity to sit with our dear girl. And Quencie, you were that fan. And like, yo, you were speaking to her through us. And I was so excited and so happy for you. You know what I mean? Like, through you, she saw how much her fans really loved her, you know, and just really appreciated her. You know, you had the albums. I remember like it was yesterday. You had the albums and all that, and you entertained her and put a smile on her face. And then I followed you thereafter. You're an amazing interviewer. You know, you're so good at what you do. And then the times when you would see Whitney later on, she always knew who you were and always welcomed you, you know, right up until the end with a hug and a smile. You know, you are the embodiment of not even a fan, like family. You know, you appreciated her, you loved her, you know, you spoke for all the fans. So I always had so much respect and admiration and love for you. And I'm like, yo, if I get the chance, we go and talk nippy. We go and celebrate our girl. We go and go there. So it is my honor to be here with you. All the bugs have been worked out. Here we are. I'm so happy to be back. Straight up.
And I just want to tell everybody that Dionne and I met in the comment section. Okay? I had no idea that this man, he's the host of a show on Sirius XM. He just interviewed Coco Jones this past weekend. Okay? Did a great job at that.
Thank you.
What else I know about you? You went to Syracuse.
See, I told you you're so good at what you do. See that? You see that?
I said, I gotta find out something about him. What I love is you an Aries man, because my mama's an Aries.
Come on now. April 3rd. Yes.
Yeah. And that beautiful dog, Rain. That beautiful dog.
That is my girl. That is my girl. Look at you. Is mom a March Aries or an April Aries?
The April Aries.
Good. There's a difference.
Are you?
Know? There's a
Is
difference.
it a difference? What are you?
I'm April 3rd. I'm an April Aries.
She's
yes.
April 6th. She's right there with you.
Yes. Good peoples. Kind, generous, but don't cross them.
Don't. Look, straightforward too.
You already know. You already know.
No BS. We don't need no appetizers. Y'all go straight to the full meal.
Yes. We are a main course type of people. You know us very well.
Yes. Oh my God, it's such a pleasure. Like the fact this is what I love the internet for, that you could connect with people, you know,
Absolutely.
who are fantastic just in the comment section, in the DMs, on a live.
Absolutely. Like I follow you and all your Whitney lives and conversations. I'm like, yo, she is speaking through me, much like yourself, fan from the beginning.
Tell us about you and your connection to Whitney, that you would even connect with me on that level.
So, day one, I can remember I'm a dude of a certain age. I
Yeah.
can remember MTV at its prime, and
Yeah.
this beautiful, young 20-year-old black woman, being on MTV when there were close to no. I mean, there was Tina Turner, there was
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson, but you can
Mm-hmm.
count them on one hand the number of, black creatives on MTV. And I remember the first time I heard the voice and just thought, like, I've never heard a voice so pure, singing music so effortlessly,
Mm-hmm.
effortlessly. And the music videos at the time that were, so aligned with an artist's career back in the mid 80s, when you saw her and you connected her visually to what you were hearing sonically, it was just unbelievable. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this powerful voice came out of this statuesque, just beautiful young lady.
Yeah.
And I just remember that from the very beginning. I remember looking at the liner notes.
Mm.
I didn't know where East Orange, New Jersey was. I'm from Baltimore. I ain't never been to East Orange. I barely even eat oranges. But through Whitney and those liner notes, I knew exactly where she was from. I knew the name of those
Yes.
cats, Misty and Misty Blue. Like
Come
just too
on,
much.
you a real one.
Like
You a real one.
too much. And so as a lover of music, right?
Yeah.
I love music. I've loved music my whole life, and I'm so blessed to be in a career that amplifies my love of music.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working for radio now for 30 years. I
Can't
made
y'all
this.
hear his voice, y'all? Can't y'all hear it? It's
Thank you.
silky. Go
I've
ahead.
I've I've loved music. I'm 6'4" and can't play basketball, so I gotta have some kind of talent, right? And this is it. This is it.
Wow.
So all my life, I love music, and it was it's been so personally satisfying and
Mm-hmm.
uplifting to me to be able to celebrate Whitney in my professional life.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I was in college radio when The Bodyguard came out. I was the program director in Baltimore um, when the Exhale soundtrack came out, and the Preacher's Wife soundtrack, and My Love Is Your Love. You know, I played Whitney, I supported Whitney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even now, the estate has a very great relationship with SiriusXM. That's how I
Oh,
was
good.
invited to the screening last week, and just been a lifelong fan. Can I just show you my mug real quick?
Please show us anything. Oh, love it. I saw that on the internet somewhere. Would you get it off of not Etsy?
It was a gift.
I seen that. I think I
Yes,
seen that on Etsy, you
it was a
guys.
gift, and I ain't even gonna flex. I, I ain't gonna hold you, but it came with a sweatshirt too.
Oh, that is bomb. That
Right.
is the bomb. Not
Yes.
a matching cup. That's so nice.
Yes.
And it's her iconic looks as
Yes.
well.
And we all know each look. Like what each look where each look is from. Like, come
Yep,
on.
all of them. Oh my gosh, the bodyguard. Oh
I want to
wow.
dance. Right,
I
right.
want to
All
dance.
of them. All the
Yes.
moments.
I'm your baby tonight. Come on.
So, just a lifelong fan. And before we get into the movie,
Yeah.
I've got to tell you real quick my Whitney story. I met her once in my career.
Please. Please. We can't listen, we can't even I was gonna ask you that. I was like, I mean, you couldn't have been the radio the program director and with all of these and never ever ran into her.
So it was an event that I wasn't even supposed to be at. Quincy, I wasn't even supposed to be. I had no business at this event. It was Soul Train Awards weekend
Ooh.
in 2001. And
Where?
I actually missed my flight out of Baltimore to LA. So I'm already salty, right? I missed my flight. I got there late. I had tickets to Mr. Dalvin.
That Jodeci.
Yes, I'm about to take it back. Mr. Dalvin was hosting an album release party.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember a song from the album. I couldn't tell you a single. I couldn't tell you their album cut. But somehow this man was having an album release party at the Playboy Mansion that weekend.
Okay.
So there was a shuttle leaving from LAX to the Playboy Mansion for the party. I missed my flight, therefore I missed the shuttle. So I'm really salty. At the airport, I run into Jamie Foster Brown.
Sister. Tell me
the amazing Jamie Foster Brown.
Yes.
Who I was a friend of ours through the radio station, and I knew a devout Whitney fan, which will come in handy later in the story. So Jamie sees us in the airport. She's like, "Where are you guys headed?" Like, well, we were going to the Devontae album party. Dalvin album party, but we missed the shuttle. Yeah. Oh, I'm going there too. You can ride with me. See? So we're there. Love it. So let me tell you. So we get to the party, and it's a virtual who's who of that guy from that movie, that woman from that show. Wow. Oh my God, it's so and so. Oh my God, it's such and such. All these stars here to see this hear this music. Again, I couldn't tell you man knows about the song, any song that night. So I looked toward the direction of the bar. Mm-hmm. Quencie, my heart stopped. At the bar are Whitney and Bobby. At this party I wasn't supposed to be at this party I was almost not going to be at, I see Whitney and Bobby. I immediately walk over to Jamie. I said, Jamie, I know this isn't that kind of party, but you know how much I love Whitney Houston. Can you please have me meet her? Can you please introduce me to her? Yes. So Jamie walks over toward the bar, and I see this. And I see Whitney go,
not the okay, yes.
I get the nod. I get the yes. I get the approval. So Whitney and Jamie walk over to me, and I rehearse this in my head to the point where I can recite it to you, 23 years later. Jamie walks over and says, "Oh, Whitney, I want you to meet a friend of mine. This is Dionne. He's a radio programmer from Baltimore. Dionne, this is Whitney Houston." I say, "I've been a fan of yours since the beginning, and it's an honor to finally meet you." Just like that.
Perfection.
When I tell you, obviously she gave the biggest, warmest smile. Mm-hmm. How are you, Dionne? Are you having a good time? Isn't this music great? Again, I don't know any song played that night. But Whitney Houston asked me, isn't the music great? Mm. So I said, it is great, isn't it? She said, yes, I know. And she was so warm and so inviting and so real, just so real that night. Jamie would later say, Whitney, do you mind if I get a picture? Because Jamie back in the day, before the days of camera phones, Jamie would have a disposable at the ready for the magazine. Mm-hmm. Whitney agreed.
What? Look at there! Finally, somebody taller than Whitney.
Right.
Yes! That is actually a beautiful... Look at Sir, was you going crazy? What were you feeling?
It was an out of
Back up
body
there for a few
experience.
seconds. Everybody ain't got a picture with Whitney Houston. Put it back up there for a few seconds. Dionne and Whitney. What was the year?
2001 Soul Train Awards weekend. And if you notice her smile,
Yes.
she is literally talking to Jamie through her teeth.
What was she saying? Oh my God.
So this was March, and Bobby Christina's birthday was this weekend. And she was talking to Jamie about Bobby Chris's party happening later on that weekend and giving her the details about Bobby Chris's birthday party that weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
She was talk smiling.
She was talk smiling. Yeah, this is so and so. Yeah, you got to make it. It's going to be a great party. You got to come down. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yes.
Man, I'm surprised you ain't got it blown up a little bigger.
Oh, there's more than one of these. There's several of these. And people that follow me on social media, people that follow me know that every August 9th, this thing goes up.
They gonna see that picture. Yes.
Trust.
I love it.
Yeah.
The story was awesome. Like, but what were you feeling? Like, were you, because you're seeing celebrities all the time for what you do, but of course there's special ones. So what were you feeling in that moment? Because to even be able to ask Jamie to do that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll tell you one word, Quencie. It was relief, because I've been blessed at that point to meet a lot of A-list stars, a lot of celebrities, and I pretty much accept whatever the vibe is going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I accept how the vibe is going to be. I've met A-listers who've been amazing. I've met A-listers who've been not so amazing, right?
Right.
So, and the fact that this is a private party. This isn't a party where fans be fanning, right?
Yep.
So I totally expected, number one, for Whitney to say no. And I would have been okay stalking her from afar the entire night. I would have been okay just being like,
that's her,
the entire night. I would have been cool with that. Yeah. So when she said yes, and when she allowed me in at this private moment, Bobby's over there, the music is pumping. It's a big outdoor sexy event. When she said yes, and when she said it's cool, a feeling of relief, because what would have affected me a bit, no lie, was if in meeting the woman that I had been so enamored with, and if I would have gotten, some negativity, some pushback, some,
it would have sunk in. Yeah, it would have sunk in.
Would I still love her? Absolutely.
Yes.
Would it have marred my love slightly? Probably. But
you're human. You're human.
But the opposite happened. The fact that she was so embracing made me love her even more.
Yes. Come on.
And so when I read stories like you and your Whitney experience, when I read stories and see social media clips of people like Coco from SWV, people like Faith Evans, people like Kelly Price, people like Mary, just talking about the Whitney that we don't know, the Whitney that was Monica, the Whitney that was so embracing and so loving and so giving and so caring. I'm blessed to say I have one of those stories too, and I can vouch for that.
How special is that too? Because she's one of the greats. Like, she literally looks like Marvin Gaye. You know what I mean? Like, she's one of the greatest voices of all time. And to say that you met her, that you experienced warmth, like, everybody can't say that, and it's a special moment, man. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. I was praying that you have gotten to meet her, because I was like, come on, all these people you done met. I'm just praying that you had an opportunity to have met her once or twice.
And after that, I wasn't taking nothing from nobody. These little one-hit wonders that be coming to my radio station, trying to flex. I'm like, get out of here, man. Get out of here. If the greatest artists of our generation, came across as engaging and full of life and open and kind. Ain't no way with you with a song that we just started playing last week is going to give me shade. Like, that's not going to happen. You know,
Thank you. I'm so glad you said
the
that.
bar
That
is
needs to be said.
eternally raised. Say it
Come
again.
on. I'm so happy you said that because you know you work in it, you're meeting people every day, you're playing music, you know exactly what's hot, you know who just broke last week, whose record is about to break. So you have a real good sense of the pulse of how people are, you know, because you ain't just listening to their music, you also getting to talk to them,
Yeah,
see them.
and you can tell, Whitney is that rare air of A-list icons. I've been blessed to meet a few, and they all are kind and endearing and respectful and
Mm-hmm.
polite. And
Mm-hmm.
as somebody that's been in the game for a minute, you don't see that much with the artists out right now.
Okay.
There's a level of expectation and a level
Mm.
of disrespect that you don't get from the greats.
No.
And that's why the greats are the greats.
Thank you. Thank you. And reared, like, you know what I'm saying? Whitney, by the time we got to meet Whitney, even though she was 19, she was a veteran.
Yeah, right. A pro out the gate. Yes, yes.
She's like, I've been doing this for a long time.
And the more that you learn her story, the more you learn that she was forced to be, grown at an early age. Like, she learned a lot about this industry and was
Yeah.
still every bit as amazingly humble and giving and caring as she was in day one. Like, it's a master class in artistry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And you know what I also noticed is how she shared her shine. A lot of people wouldn't share the stage, the mic, the space of what she had so freely with others.
I
You know
love
what
the
I
Kelly
mean?
Price. I love the Kelly Price story about how someone in her camp, Whitney's camp, thought she was over singing during a rehearsal of Heartbreak Hotel,
Yes.
and Whitney was
Mm-hmm.
like, "No, girl, you sang. You sang. Who said that? Who said that?
Who said that?
And can't you hear Whitney saying that? Like, can't you just hear Whitney going in and be like, Nah, who said that?
Yeah,
Stop."
exactly. And nipping it in the bud.
Yes,
You
yes.
know?
It's a level of, you know, like, those stories still make me smile to this day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, when Coco talked about meeting her from SWV, Coco, not Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Coco
Mm-hmm.
talked about meeting her, back in the '90s, when she was, at the height of her superpowers,
Yeah.
you know, on paper you would think that, oh, okay, when Whitney Houston meets Coco from SWV, how is that going to go? No,
Yep.
there's only one way that would have went, and that's respectful, that's embracing. Like, she always had love, you know, for those that came after her. Always
Mm-hmm.
had respect for those that came after her, and that's part of her story that we're just finding out now. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been part of her legacy forever, and that's like those are the stories that should be amplified about how giving she was as an artist
Mm-hmm.
toward other artists.
And the fact, like, she's like the only black art, well, there's only a handful of artists who have diamond, like at the diamond, like she has 3 diamond or something. Like, she's in that rare air. I don't even think Michael Jackson is there where she's at with the 3 diamond records. Like, so
So,
female, male, black, just like, come on. Are
and
you
those are
kidding me?
records that are going to stand forever. Like the Three Diamond albums,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to be duplicated anytime soon.
No.
7 consecutive #1 singles.
It
Katy
still
Perry
isn't
came
broken,
close.
right?
Katy Perry was almost in that running, but no.
Yeah.
Like, that has stood ever since 1988. Like, those are milestones. Those are career
Mhm.
milestones. And when you think about who she dethroned when Weirdly Broken Hearts go went #1, the Bee Gees and the Beatles. What?
White men
Right.
who where people were fanatical all over the world about them. The world. They were global. Okay?
This
These
25-year-old black girl from East Orange, New Jersey.
East Orange, New Jersey just
Come on
came
now.
and it just reminds me on the first day Oprah beating Donahue. Like, it was just kind of like that kind of lightning in a bottle. It was predestined. It was supposed to
We
be
were
that way. you know.
spoiled in the 80s. I mean, between Whitney and Oprah and Arsenio and, we were just
Prince
spoiled.
and
Eddie Murphy.
Michael Prince, like it was top tier,
Yeah.
you know.
The
And nobody has seen people fall out the way they did at a Michael Jackson concert.
Thank you.
That's not happened since. You can't. There's no artist on the planet that compares to Michael Jackson from 5 until the day he died.
You know what, Quencie? I ain't gonna hold you. I mean, but we could be here all night because whenever I see these comparisons, to like Mike and Chris Brown, and God bless Chris Brown, he's got his fans.
Yes.
God bless the brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
But don't compare anybody to
nobody.
Michael Jackson. I've not seen people feigning, like 50 people being carried out on stretchers having fainted at a Chris Brown concert. I just have not seen that yet. So don't.
I mean, even Beyonce, we love Beyonce, but even Beyonce is not Michael Jackson. These people are great in their own rights, but they looked up to Michael because Michael was an institution.
And they will tell you that. The fans are the ones having the bickering. The fans are the ones bickering. Beyonce, Chris Brown will tell you
who is number one. Yes.
Right.
It's no argument. Yeah. They already know.
They will
because
let
that's
you know.
Who they
right.
watch. That's who they patterned themselves after. Oh my God.
1,000%. Right. You already know what it is.
When you said Spanking New Music Week, I said, oh, he is a fan. He knew the programming for that week on MTV. And they did all I don't know if it was new artists, but artists, everybody had a week. And it was Whitney TV.
Whitney TV. Yep.
Yes.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
And I'm telling you, when I tell you I had no clue. First of all, you couldn't tell me I wasn't a number one fan. I didn't know she's Whitney Houston. She got a million number ones. I wasn't on the internet, so I didn't know that people actually had fan sites dedicated to her every move. I had no idea about that. Yo, Dionne, I didn't even know she had a new album coming out. I just knew that I did not know that I was part of the promotion of Whitney T. I had no idea. I was like, what's going on here?
How they find you and what they tell you? That's crazy.
I had no idea. I'm just saying, how am I the number one fan and I don't know any of this? But they hadn't booked Whitney when I sent my tape in. They told me that they used the tape that I sent to book her. And she said yes. Because I was flipping out in the limo going, and I remember the producer for my episode, she was Black. Her name was Evelyn. Shout out to you, Ev. And she's like, we sent the tape to Whitney. And I said, did you guys just send my tape? They're like, no, we sent about maybe 10. And she said, she chose you. So she wants to meet you too. And that took me into a whole nother mindset. You know what I mean? Then I had more fun. And I was just like, it gave me permission to be myself.
That's amazing. Did you meet her before the meeting on the couch that we all saw? Was there a pre-meeting before the meeting?
I did. No. Not at when I walked around at the MTV. That was our first meeting. I always like to say the Fanatic interview was the first time Whitney met me, but I met Whitney in I didn't tell MTV this, but I met Whitney in 1992. A few years before that, before I graduated from high school, I went to a concert in Champaign, Illinois, and Robyn Crawford was there.
Wow.
And so my basketball team, we were sitting, a few of my members of my basketball team, I bought a program and I looked in it and I saw, there go Robyn Crawford, there go Ricky Minor, there go that's Diosco over there. So I put the thing down and I told my friends, I went by myself. I came with 3 other people. I was like, I'll be back.
Okay. So right.
Listen, I went and talked to them like I knew them. Okay. I talked to Robyn and I was like, Robyn, can you take me backstage? Can I meet her? And she's like, she's not just my friend. She's my boss and da da da. And I was like, okay. So she's like, Barishnikov is here. There's other people back. I said, okay.
Barishnikov got nothing on you, Quencie.
I was like, anyway, whatever. I don't even know how to spell that. I said, okay, so since I can't meet her, because that's clearly, because I got the point real quick that the answer was no. I said, well, can you like gift me some shirts, some merch? Look, I was bold.
Of
And
course.
she came back and gave like 4 shirts for me and my friends. I really don't think they should have got any because I did all the work. I was over there for like 40 minutes before the concert started. Because after
Wow.
7,
You put in that work. See, the universe, paid you back in kind. You know what I
after
mean?
because
Yes.
after 7 was the opener, and then like when I went to college in Atlanta, I snuck backstage with a couple of other friends because Whitney was doing the passing of the torch from Barcelona to Atlanta for the Olympic flag. She hosted the celebration of her and Dick Clark, so she
Okay.
was hosting it, and so
Wow.
there was like Olympic people there, TLC, like it was packed, and me and a friend snuck back. Me and 2 people. I said we're gonna dress up like we're going to church, and I'm gonna take a clipboard and we're
I
gonna
love
act
the
like
strategy. Yo, I love
I'm
it.
gonna act like we media. We media for the school paper, the CAU Panther. We
Right.
did. So we met the guy who owned not the own. He was like the manager. Snuck backstage, saw Robyn again. I was like, Robyn, ain't no t-shirts this time. Can you? I did the same thing you did with Jamie Foster. I said, you think you can go? She's like, well, she's right over there. I said, and so are those
Right.
bodyguards. I said, like, please don't act like me walking up is the same as you telling her. So she went and told Whitney, and Whitney came over and she said, how y'all doing, babies? And she shook our hands, and that was it. But I couldn't say anything. But the next
Wow.
time I met her was on MTV. So Whitney doesn't remember that. And I said in that moment, oh, meeting her is not the goal. The goal is I had to redefine what I wanted from her. And
Mm.
what I wanted was an opportunity to tell her how she had influenced and impacted me, and for her to be able to pay attention. And so I went to the universe and I visualized that.
Those are God bless moves. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the universe gave you, you know, a bigger realization than your wildest dream could have imagined. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. I love that.
Thank you. Listen, thank you for listening, because listen, I ain't got but 7 stories and they all take turns, okay?
Okay, right, right. Yo, I love your stories. I tried to get backstage. I went to the classic Whitney concert in DC. I tried to get backstage, didn't work. You know what
What?
I mean? I've been
Which
trying.
concert
I've
did
been
you
trying.
go to? Because there
Huh?
was 2. Which one did you go to? There was 2.
I went to the first one.
Oh, how was that one? How was that one? Because I'm
So
sure she sang her face off the first one almost till her voice was strained. The second one, she said.
yeah, yeah. I can tell it like so. What I want to say about the movie also applies to that question. As we all know, Whitney never sings the same song the same way twice. Every time you see her, you're gonna get a different look.
Yep.
You're gonna get a different sound. You're gonna
Yes.
get a different riff, and it's all gonna
Yes.
be amazing.
Yep.
So, seeing the second concert, there were definite differences between the two. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, but just as dope, just as
Yeah.
amazing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just as great. Um, I'm a firm believer that unless you're in the front row, the best seat is in front of your TV.
Yeah.
Because I mean, my tickets were high, but I was up on the balcony, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get you know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
so my experience was what it was. But just being in the building at Constitution Hall was reward enough for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, she never sings the same song the same way. Like the South Africa concert was a perfect example of that. Like,
Let's get to
oh,
that, because Dionne went to the premiere. Okay, you guys are going to get to be able to see it today and Sunday. But Dionne, because of his job, because of his career, because his specialness, he got to go to something that most people don't get to go to. So start from the beginning and go slow, sir.
I'm gonna set it up for you. Okay,
Please.
picture it. Tribeca, 2024.
Mm.
Now, so that day, it was last Thursday, which was also not coincidentally the same day
What?
of Sissy's homegoing. So follow me now. So it was set to start at 7:30. I got there around 7:15. It was about 3/4 of the way full. There was reserved seating. I sat where there was no reserved seating. At around 7:25, Whitney's inner circle entered that theater. Pat, Gary, Donna, nieces, nephews, Ray, her bodyguard, backup dancers, band members. I mean, the inner circle of Whitney Houston came directly from the funeral for the matriarch of the family to the premiere of her daughter's historic concert 30 years ago this year. So I'm not even going to exaggerate for you the feeling of having all of these people from Gordon Chambers, you know, to Kim Burrell.
Kim Burrell was there.
Inside this theater in Tribeca. No lie, no exaggeration. I knew the spirit of Sissy, Whitney, Bobby Christina was in this theater.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. So I'm already full to begin with. And I'm not seeing a second on that screen. But I knew with this inner circle and everyone who loved Whitney the most and was closest to her, having just come from Sissy's homegoing, was here in that scene, that night. It was so powerful and so incredible before you even heard the first note. So there we are. And when I was watching you on StreamYard before my technical difficulties, I heard the question somebody was asking about the Johannesburg show versus the Durban show. So as fans, we all know, you know, where we were watching HBO that night. I know I do. And we know every lick, every ad lib, you know what I mean? We know every dance move, every camera angle, you know, right up to the end where Bobby scared Whitney at the end.
Yes.
Remember during the credits?
He surprised her. Yeah, I think he surprised her.
Right, came out of nowhere. I was like, ah! She's like, so we're fans. So we know every nuance of that Johannesburg show. You are in for such a treat because Durban, nothing like it, but just as incredible. Just as phenomenal. I can tell you the songs that, you know, obviously the set list, you know, she came out to Stevie, Love's the Need of Love, and then boom, went into So Emotional. You know, the set list, by and large, is the same. But again, to my point earlier, how Whitney Houston never sings the same song the same way twice.
Right.
You got such a different feel of So Emotional into I Want to Dance with Somebody. And then you know how the band does that transition from I Want to Dance and How Will I Know?
Yeah.
Like, damn, boom. Like,
it was electric in that theater, wasn't it?
Oh, I couldn't tell at a certain point if it were the South African audience applauding or us applauding. Like that's how electric it was in that theater. And, you know, I thought I'd heard it all. Like, you know, I'm like you. I dig deep in YouTube. You know, I find the, you know, missing performances. You know, I find the, you know, I saw something new from the Japan I'm Your Baby Tonight concert when she was in her Canary Yellow that I hadn't seen in a while. Like, I'm always digging. And
Yeah.
as a fan, you will so appreciate, even if you knew the HBO concert in Joburg front and back, you will so appreciate this live
Ooh, this is
show.
a treat. Oh my gosh, exclusive.
I will tell
Yes.
you the one song that she did different. Well, she did them all differently, like I said.
Yeah.
Like, she gave you different looks every time she stepped in front of the mic because that's the entertainer that she is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you specifically, when she did I Have Nothing, I mean, we both have heard, and, everyone on
And
the
that's
line.
my favorite. That's my favorite. I love that more than I Will Always Love
Me
You.
too. Me too. Yo, when you hear the spin that she put on the last 90 seconds of that song, it will blow you away. I mean, you think you've heard them all?
Not
We gotta we gotta Marty McFly this moment and go back in our DeLorean to 1994 when this woman was at the height of her superpowers. Now, two things you got to consider when she was on that stage. One, professionally, she couldn't be hotter. It was Between the Bodyguard and Way to Exhale. 14 weeks at number one. Biggest soundtrack of all time. This woman was everything. It was Michael Jackson Thriller. It was Stevie Songs in the Key of Life. It was Usher Confessions. She was at that moment. But all that, however, personally, you understand that she had married Bobby 2 years ago. Bobby Chris was barely 2 years old. Personally, she was so happy. The happiest that I think she'd ever been in her life. She married the love of her life. She had a beautiful baby girl. So forget all the professional
stuff. Yeah.
From a personal standpoint, she was so happy and so fulfilled and so complete.
Yeah.
That's what you saw on stage. You saw a woman. You saw a woman in her total fulfillment as a wife, as a mother, and then thirdly, as an artist.
Yeah.
That's the person that you saw on stage. And she just gave it to you for 60,000 people eating out the palm of her hand. 60,000 people. Like I looked at that and I had to go back at my time machine and be like, wow, in 1994.
1994. Okay.
This 31-year-old black woman commanded this entire arena of people. One woman. It wasn't one woman.
And when you hear the age 31, doesn't she come across so much more mature?
She always did. She always did. Can I
She was
tell
an
you?
old soul.
Right. She was grown when she was young.
Yeah, because those outfits, her stage presence is not giving 31.
Not at all. Not at all. She's been here before. We know that.
Yes.
This woman's been here before.
Yes. What was it like seeing her on the big screen in this concert setting? Like, with the 4K, I'm sure it's in the best resolution possible and the audio and all that. Talk about it from those terms.
It really made it look as if this concert was last week. Wow. Just how crisp and I'm a big fan of sonics and audio clarity. Like, the music was so crisp and so clean, and the visuals were so sharp. Like it looked like a concert that had happened last week. See. That's how, it didn't look like a concert that was 30 years old. I mean, they had preserved and updated, you know, that audio and that video just perfectly.
Nice.
Perfectly, to the point where, like, you would never have known that this thing was recorded in 1994. You would never have known. Another Goosebumps moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I totally forgot about this, having watched from the HBO concert. When Whitney did touch the world,
Yeah.
and Sissy was conducting the
Yes.
kids, directing the kids behind Whitney,
Yes.
and again realize again the inner circle had just come from the homegoing, and to see Sissy
Wow.
on that
Up
stage
there.
on the day she was laid to rest was just so powerful,
Mm.
so powerful. Like I told you, the spirit was in that room.
Absolutely.
Spirit was in that
Absolutely.
room. You know, in the middle of the show, once the camera had cut to Sissy directing the kids, applause, applause throughout the entire theater. Like just goosebumps, just goosebumps. And at the end, when the song was over, when Whitney and Sissy hugged, just no words for how that experience translated in that theater. Like you're going to love every moment of this.
Oh yes! Do you
Yeah.
guys hear that? You're gonna love it. This is, I think, probably one of the best things that has happened since she's been gone.
Yeah, it really is. It really is, and you know we've been there for the whole thing. You know, I love the "I Want to Dance with Somebody" movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, loved it. Like knowing the estate and having the relationship with the estate. You know, I was told that there was something that they were doing with the South Africa concert like earlier this year. There was talk about it, but they didn't really fill us in too much until it got closer to the actual release.
Yeah.
You know, there is talk of there are plans for the 40th anniversary of the debut album next year.
Nice.
I don't think I'm telling any trade secrets by sharing that with everybody,
Yeah.
but the estate is planning a celebration for her 40th year of music next year.
Nice.
And just how Pat keeps that legacy going is just so great. I was so happy when Higher Love. Let me tell you, when
She
when
sings that? She sings Higher Love?
no. It's a sidebar. When she passed, I was trying to get my colleagues at the radio station to support the Higher Love single, the version that she had recorded,
Right.
for the Japanese version of Baby Tonight. And I was trying to convince, the white programmers at my company, like, look, she remade this Steve Winwood record.
Right.
Let's go. Let's celebrate her life.
Yes.
What gives? What's up? Let's do it. Unfortunately, my sentiment was not matched.
Really?
But I mean, they a few stations spiked it, but nobody really got behind it in the way that I knew the song deserved to be.
Yeah.
So when the estate decided to have Kygo remix it and release it, 6 years later, I said, I
Bet
told
you they played
y'all.
it then.
Right. I tried to tell y'all. Right. And so things like that the estate's done with Higher Love, with Love Is. I was talking to Lynn Volkman about trying to get an advance of Love Is. It wasn't happening. But when I heard her do the song, because I wasn't that familiar with the song when she did it in Johannesburg, right? It wasn't a song that we knew.
Yeah.
She was sitting in the chair, if you remember.
Yep.
When she sang that song. And so it was almost kind of forgettable because again, that tour that show was so hit bound, hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
And you heard a song that wasn't really a hit, kind of roll with it,
Well,
but you weren't really
I
singing
remember
along
that
to it.
specifically because Sissy came out to wipe her eyes.
Yes. She totally did. Didn't do it in Durban, But she did
Okay.
do that in Johannesburg. You're absolutely right. And so now, knowing that the estate is releasing that song,
Mm-hmm.
it took on a special significance hearing it last week. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't, the song between, the massive hits. It was like, wow, it's part of the legacy now. You
Oh,
know,
shout out to Ulysses. I remember I used to call Nippy Ink, and he'd be like, "Yes, Quincy, we know who you are."
shout out to Ulysses. I fanboy him as well. Just like fanboy you. I fanboy Ulysses. Yes. Yes.
For you guys watching who may not know, Ulysses worked for Whitney for a long time. I think they even share a birthday.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Wow. Check that
yeah.
out. I did not know that.
Come on
Wow.
now, come on now
Right.
with the facts. Come on
Right.
with the
Right.
background.
It's Black Jeopardy up in this month. Yes.
Oh
Yes.
look, only for Whitney though.
Right.
Only for Whitney.
I'm not sure if Ulysses. I'm assuming Ulysses was there last week, but it was just an electric night. So yeah, Love Is. Ironically enough, we've got a meeting with with Sony tomorrow. We'd like to have the premiere of Love Is on Heart and Soul, which is our adult R&B channel. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it looks like that's going to happen. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, Quincy, about, I feel so blessed to be in a position where, my career
Mm-hmm.
aligns with, respect for icons like
Mm-hmm.
Whitney, and being able to, yeah, he was there. That's
Yes.
right. Being able to honor her objectively and as a fan. We would
Mm-hmm.
do this even if I wasn't a super fan, because as an artist of her extreme popularity and success, she's earned it. She's
Yes.
deserved it. If I was a fan or not, I'd be fighting for it. So,
Mm-hmm.
so shout to the estate, shout to Sony. They've been great partners with us, and it is my pleasure and honor to be able
Mm-hmm.
to celebrate her legacy, professionally and personally. So hopefully you'll hear Love Is. So no one's heard the studio version yet, so I cannot wait to hear the studio version, and
Ooh.
we're gonna hopefully debut it on our platform.
Ooh, I hope
So yeah,
so.
that was a moment, a moment that'll make you probably tear up.
Mm.
Is when she did "I Will Always Love You." Now, of course, that's the standard, right?
Yeah.
And of course, again, she killed it.
Mm-hmm.
She just eh, one word with her that I always use in her performance is effortless.
Mm.
Effortless. Like she didn't have to. She would just stand there,
Flat-footed.
flat-footed and everything, and just give you a boom,
Right.
bam. So effortless, and I will always love you. But very, to take a word from the song, very bittersweet.
Mm.
Very bittersweet when you listen to the lyrics and just the emotion in that Tribeca theater, of the inner circle and the fans. It just connects with you in a way that'll be like, wow, like
Yeah.
I really miss that woman. You
Mm.
know, it's powerful. It's yeah. I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Oh
You're
my
gonna.
gosh. All I see is people's like, I'm going Sunday. I keep forgetting, like, it's the middle of the week. Probably people are taking their whole families. Actually, one of Whitney's, the little girl dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, one of the little girl dancers, I think her name is Misty. She inboxed me and said that she's taking her whole family. And I was like, well, you should be doing that. Like, you were
Right.
there. You were on stage dancing with
Right.
her, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. 1,000%. I saw one of the questions asking, had I ever met Clive? I have met Clive. Um, and again, fanboying all day. I was fortunate enough to meet Clive a few times. I got to interview him for his book. I got to interview Robyn. I got to interview Robyn for her book.
What was that like? Now I know you. If you fanned over Clive, you had to fan over Robyn.
I read her book in less than a day. Let me tell you. Some interviews I'll skim a book.
Yeah.
I'll do cliff notes.
Right.
I'll go on YouTube and just wing it.
Yeah.
I read Robyn Crawford's book, A Song for You, from cover to cover. Like, I made sure I went in there just like, just
I know that's right.
Ready, just ready. And she even said, "Oh my God, you did read the book." I'm like, "You're surprised that I read the book?" Of course I read the book.
Now, Dionne, you've been in this business long enough to know that most people do cliff notes.
You're right. You're right.
So when I remember Charlie Rose interviewing Ruby Dee, and what's her husband, Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee.
Yeah.
And the conversation he was having with them, there's no way that he could have had that kind of conversation without reading the book. And Ruby Dee was like, "Oh, you read the book?"
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you read the book. So what was your interview experience like?
So I wanted to make sure that she knew that I wasn't interviewing her in a way that was exploitative.
Mm-hmm.
We can all say that we're fans. Obviously, she had millions of fans, everywhere, right?
Correct.
But, I wanted to make sure that I was coming at this with a level of respect for the legacy, a respect for, their relationship and all of its nuances, personally, professionally, and that, this wasn't going to be a gotcha. I'm not trying to, I'm not doing this for likes. I'm doing
likes
this
and views, click and shares.
Right. I'm doing this as someone who admires, present tense, Whitney Houston, and admired Robyn for her strength in writing this. Because my biggest question was like, yo, why do you want to do this now? Like, is this the time? And how do you think Whitney would respond to this? But I wanted to pose that in a way that came from respect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So she had been doing all the rounds that day. I'm not sure if GMA was before me or after me, but it was a whole promo run. So, I know she'd been asked the questions, and everybody was focusing in on the early part of their relationship, and I just wanted to just know the person.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
To know this person. And so that's where my questions came from, about how they met, about, there was a story about she was never a cook, but she cooked for Eddie Murphy, and there was a passage in the book where she said, a part of me, and this was after they had, resumed their professional relationship, and she cooked a meal for Eddie, and I think Eddie stood her up or something. And Robyn was alluding in the book, saying that, a part of me had wished that dinner was for me, but I knew it was never going to be. You know what I mean? And that part really hit me, like, as a human being, like, wow, to experience that, and to be so, on the one hand, so supportive of your best friend, but also to feel this in this public setting, just how did that hit you? Like, how did that make you feel? And I think in answering that, she understood that, I wasn't trying to pull a gotcha. I wasn't trying to exploit this thing. I genuinely get the fact that you loved her, period, and would do anything for her and would support her. Like, I got it. And I'm glad that, it took a minute again for her to kind of, for the ice to kind of melt and her to see that I wasn't just some guy talking to Robyn about a book. That it was really from a place of sincerity. And she responded in kind. And, we were able to kind of laugh at the funny parts,
Mm-hmm.
and she was able to give me, a little more than kind of the stock answers that she'd given GMA and that she'd given
Mm-hmm.
the Today Show and that sort of thing. So, um, it was deep. It was deep, Quincy. Like I was really, really happy that we had a chance to have that conversation. Shout out to
Mm-hmm.
my girl Tracy Jordan, um, who works in our talent department, but who knows everybody. I mean,
Don't you love knowing people who know
yo,
everybody?
I gotta shout out Tracy Jordan because Tracy knows everybody, and we were so blessed to have her on our team. She secured Robyn for the interview. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And she sold me to Robyn. You know, because she knew how much I love Whitney and that I would respect her in the interview and
Mm-hmm.
hooked it up. So
I'm
shout out to
so
Tracy
glad.
Jordan.
I'm
Uh,
so glad somebody who loves Whitney as much as you do got an opportunity to interview Robyn. That's great.
yeah, it was
Honestly.
touching. I think it's still up on my YouTube channel, my Dion Deezy YouTube channel. I think it's still posted
Well,
there.
listen. As soon as this is over, I'm going to check. Okay. I need to watch that. All right.
Love, love, love.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I like okay, since you're in the business of no, meaning that you get news before us sometimes about things in the music, that's coming out. Do you because they were asking me on Facebook and stuff, do you think that this will be made available once this is out of theaters?
Um, I think so. I think it's going to be available on demand. I think it's going to be streaming soon. I don't know that for a fact. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I would imagine it will be made available on streaming platforms, at some point soon. Yes.
What do you think, like Blu-ray, like so we can watch it, like you said, in our
Ooh,
homes?
ooh, that's a Ulysses question.
Ulysses,
Where where
Ulysses,
you at? I mean,
yes,
I
come
was
on and tell
I,
us, give us the
I was
info.
thinking Prime Video, but yo, we can Blu-ray that
Nah,
thing and
nah,
have it in our homes, like
yes,
yes,
nah, Blu-ray, whatever the latest version of whatever that
right?
we can, yes, so we can see the crispiness on somebody's big screen
It don't
in the
even
living room
matter.
with a
It can
couch.
be on laser disc, and we will eat it up. I don't even care. I don't even
Right,
care. It don't even matter.
right, yes. So I'm like, they're going to release, I guess, the live soundtrack next month
Yes,
sometime. So we're right up at Christmas. I just believe that it's going to be something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm excited for the studio version of Love Is. Like like whenever we uncover like new Whitney studio versions, I'm
Oh, he
like,
said we giving you stuff. Stay tuned.
yes, yes, okay for stuff. We love stuff.
Yes.
We love stuff. But yeah, just you know, when there are new studio versions of her music that's released, that extends the legacy. That's airplay at radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
That's soundtrack to weddings.
Yeah.
That's playlisted music. Like those things extend the legacy so much, and so that's another reason why I just salute the estate for what they're doing because that extends the legacy. That bring how many kids were brought into the Whitney fold after Higher Love.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, how many kids who didn't grow up with Whitney Houston,
I know.
were rocking to
Look,
that
that's my
record?
job. That is my job. I have a 6-year-old niece, and since she was 2, who is this? The greatest singer in the world. I gotta put a compilation because listen, she know. Is that yes? She's like she called Whitney her friend. Okay.
She's the friend in all of our heads. Come on
But
now.
that's what you gotta. That's what you gotta do. You got to ingrain it because they like a blank canvas. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And it's so great how, through TikTok, you know, the younger generation is discovering music from before their time.
Mm-hmm.
So I love when someone discovers Whitney Houston for the first time. Because we ain't
Oh
got
my
no
God.
singers right now. We got some
No.
good singers. We have great singers. We ain't got too
We
many
ain't got no
singers.
singers.
Right.
What Jermaine Dupri said, they ain't in church no more.
Right. That part. That part. So when they hear someone who can belt, who can
Mm-hmm.
belt out these songs live, I mean, Whitney live will just never be replicated ever by anybody. Don't even matter.
Mm-mm.
But when you take that and you measure that against how poised and how brilliantly methodical the studio versions are,
Mm.
you know, like she understood every assignment. She got the formula to what makes these songs connect. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a hook. You know what I mean? Like she'll
Yeah.
make sure, you know, that hook is there. Those verses that you'll keep singing along to. Before I left work today, I was listening to one of my channels, and The Greatest Love came on.
Hmm.
And you
Which
know, every time
version? Which version? Which version?
it was straight from the 1985 Whitney Houston album. It was, you know,
Nice.
just that started so, you know,
It's
and
perfect.
just a perfectly clean, crisp vocal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like like again, it's a masterclass. It's a
It really
masterclass.
is.
You know, just knew, you know, the songs, just knew which way to kind of, you know, interpret certain music and deliver certain music, you know, in one or two takes. We've all heard the stories about how she finished I mean Baby Tonight in one take because she wanted to go to the mall.
Right, right.
Which is
But you,
crazy.
but you know what? I also don't. I want to talk a little bit about when it comes to the South Africa concert is the fact of what South Africa was going through, and the fact that like she is one of the first artists to perform there after apartheid. You know what I mean? I got the distinct pleasure to interviewing Wayne Lindsay, who played keyboards
Yeah.
for her, and he talked about what a big deal it was, you know, because it was apartheid and Nelson Mandela, and so all of that, never been to Africa before. Now this is her first. You get what I'm saying? Just like all the things that goes with that. That was like monumental as well. Not just her in South Africa, but why she was there and
I
her
love with
being
that.
among the first.
I love, to your point, I love with that represented. You know, again, let's go
Mm-hmm.
back in our time machine again and let's Marty McFly back to '94.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Whitney was, you know, the pop princess,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going to South Africa to celebrate the end of apartheid with Nelson Mandela.
Come on.
Like,
You don't get blacker than
you
that. And
don't get black. Thank you for saying it. That is blickety black.
listen, that's
And
blackity black, black, black.
fans knew that, you know what, Whitney was clamoring for this moment because let's not forget,
Mm-hmm.
Quencie, what, 4 years prior,
Mm-hmm.
she did Freedom Fest, which was a
Mm-hmm.
concert to free Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
So she's
Yep.
always been about that life. She's
About it.
always been about that life. And,
Mm-hmm.
call it the the illusion of the pop princess, this, guarded, you know, white appealing, plastic, like whatever preconceived notions you
Mm-hmm.
had of this woman, she was always telling you who she was.
Always.
She was always telling you who she was. And
Yep.
the older she got, the louder it became.
It was in stereo.
Right. Right. It was in full HD on display. You
Yeah,
gonna
what did
see,
they say on TikTok? It was live in 4K.
okay,
Okay.
you gonna learn. So even
Right.
then, she told you what she was about. She
Right.
was always about empowerment. You know,
Always.
always about empowerment. So when we see it in the retelling now, and she says, like she said in the Joburg HBO concert, you know, I've been to Japan. I've seen the Japanese in their land. I've been to
Mm-hmm.
Italy. I've seen the Italians in their land. But I'm finally home. Like, now, hearing that, it resonates even more because it's
Mm-hmm.
real, and you know it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted you to know that it was real. She wanted you to
Mm-hmm.
know, like, nah, forget what you heard. I'm here to tell you this is what it is. I
Yeah.
am home. If
Home.
you know, you know.
And
Boom.
with and you can feel like all the emotions. So I'm so excited to see this version, like that it's slightly different, but just as beautiful. And we haven't seen it. Like I think that's the biggest gift is that fans have not seen this version. Because I didn't understand why they kept saying Durban, Durban. I'm like, oh, so that was Johannesburg.
It hit
Okay.
me. Yep. It hit me
It didn't.
like when I first saw Durban, I was like, wait a minute. They wasn't saying Durban, Durban back in
No,
'94. And then I
they
realized, oh,
wasn't.
that's a different concert.
Yeah.
We're getting an entirely different show, y'all. It's and
Mm. I
again,
love that.
again, here's the takeaway. Whitney Elizabeth Houston never sang the same song the same way twice.
Preach.
So that alone should excite you enough to see this movie. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the end of the movie, I Want to Dance with Somebody, when the actress is, doing Whitney's version of the 1994, that whole special thing she did
Yeah.
on the AMAs.
Yeah.
Like, what I wanted to see at the end of that movie was like like how they did in What's Love Got to Do with It, and they faded into Tina. I thought they were going to fade into Whitney, and I was going to be able to see Whitney in the studio, like in the theater, singing that tribute. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the fact that now it's a whole however long, 90 minutes, whatever the concert is of that is brilliant.
You know, it's
Okay.
so we are so aligned because I thought about that Tina Turner movie moment when
Uh-huh.
when it faded from Angela Bassett to Tina on stage, and I thought the same thing. Like they're gonna fade it into the
Yeah.
AMAs. Boom.
I just knew it. I just knew it. It was gonna start off with the actress and then fade into Whitney, and that would have been the perfect ending to that
Yes.
movie of Whitney we watching her sing it in the
I,
theater.
I I just knew it was gonna go there, but to your point, now we've got it. We got big screen
Right.
Whitney singing to our face, and it's
The
crazy.
whole time.
We would be here all night, but like when you mentioned that AMA medley, I would say top three favorite performances from her ever,
Yep.
ever. And I know people have
Mine
asked
too.
you, and I don't even know what you would say, like if you even have a favorite, like picking a favorite child. But
Check this out. Ulysses said we wanted to do that for the film, but we couldn't get it cleared by Dick Clark Productions. Really, Dick
wow,
Clark Productions? Wow.
I blame Ryan
Really?
Seacrest. I blame Ryan Seacrest. I don't know why I just do.
Ryan.
Wow.
So
Yes.
at least they thought what we
Yes.
thought. We were
They, they,
we were on the right
they were on the
track.
same page with us. Yeah. Because, without a doubt, like, oh my God, like that medley, chef's kiss. Like,
And it was straight. Like I think what's it, Ricky Minor, I think he said something to the effect that like that was unheard of too, that it was that long with no commercial break or anything, just a straight set of those songs. That was epic to even have
I
that.
remember that.
How many?
Yeah, that was a long segment for just that one woman on stage and
Mm-hmm.
just delivered so strongly. I'm caught up on that one. I'm caught up on All the Man That I Need from the Billboard Awards, which he
Mm.
did
That was epic too. That was epic
the
too.
medley that ended with All the Man. Yeah, that. Whoo, yeah,
And the
we'd be here
lover
forever.
man, like I love that Ricky Minor, pitched her because she did it in classic Whitney too, like paying homage to these different genres of music that we probably would never have heard her sing.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes, yes, very much so. Like that was classic. My gosh, 14-minute segment. Thank you, Ulysses. 14 minutes with this black woman on the
Wow.
AMAs.
Thank
Yes,
you. Because listen, I don't know why we don't talk about it more, but can you say black woman again? Because
I,
the fact that she was black, like let's not lose sight of that,
that's what I was
y'all.
saying about,
Like
about
they wasn't playing black people people on MTV. Like, there's hardly nobody, period, who has 3 diamond records. But the fact that she's black and female,
And she was like,
y'all.
just like I was saying about the Mandela thing, she was letting you know who she was.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like, y'all got to realize this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
East Orange, I'm Newark.
Newark.
Newark. I'm a black girl from Newark. Like, setting records all over the world. Newark.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, because Whitney's music and her talent and everything that she represents, it transcends race. You know, people who can't speak English are singing Whitney Houston songs. Okay, so I understand that. Like, she was so big that her music transcends race. It touches everybody, every gender, every genre. But like, it is a big deal that she was black and female and broke all these records. Like, I just don't ever want that to be lost. You know what I mean? Because it's huge and it hasn't been done before her and after her.
It's a level of inspiration that when you get it, you get it. It's a level of inspiration from the Brandies and the Monicas, you know, and even, and it does transcend race. The Christinas and the Mariahs, seeing this black woman on stage commanding an audience
Yeah.
and
And what
singing.
Ulysses said, remember, she had the most AMA awards until Taylor beat her.
I remember that. Yep.
I mean, Taylor Swift is 2 days old compared to, it took.
Yep.
Look how long she had that record.
Remember when Whitney was like, I may as well just stay up on stage now. I may as well just stay up on stage. At the AMAs, like, because they kept calling her damn name. Like, that's real. Like, when you're in it, when you're seeing that, it feels different when you think back on it. Like, wow, this woman was so celebrated and so honored and so loved. It's just unbelievable. But then you see this movie and you hear those performances and you're like, oh, that's why. Mm-hmm. That's why. Nobody can do
one of one.
Nobody, one of one. Like, nobody can do what she did in this movie. Like, nobody.
Yeah. And I said it on a Facebook earlier, but like, one of the reasons that I have these pages celebrating her and I did the fan documentary that I did is not just because she's like a great singer, because I could just listen to her in my iPod. She was greater than that. Like, you know what I mean? She brought God into it. She was kind to people. Like, her persona, she was generous. Like, when you talk to people who work with her, she's the best boss I ever had. Whitney paid for my operation. Like, it's because of who she was along with all of that. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm posting for somebody 12 years after they then passed away. It's not just because she could sing a good song.
And you find out those new things. That's what really just keeps my love for her so alive. The fact that, like, yo, this artist said this. This artist said that. Like, she was giving and didn't even have to be. Just so giving and someone so at the top of their game. And she reached back. She reached back in a very meaningful way. And like, every single story has that common thread. If it's Mary J. Blige, if it's Monica, they all have that common thread of, she was so giving. She was giving. She was funny. She was a human being. Like, we lose sight of our icons and don't understand it. Like, she was just like us, but she was nothing like us. Okay, nothing like us. Right.
I love that. And you know what? Now, in talking about her greatness with somebody who also knows, like, the stuff that everybody off cuff don't know. But I used to be so angry, like, because, and I want to get your input about this. Not angry, but just like, hey, why? When Aaliyah passed away, and that beautiful tribute that, like, Missy Elliott and, since you've been gone, that I was like, where is the Whitney tribute? But then, as we're talking about her, the fact that it's 2024 and we're all excited to go see a film that she sang 30 years ago, I wonder, is she still in competition Is she still the leader of the pack? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't even find nobody to do a tribute to her because she's still the elite, you know?
Yes.
So I don't know. So that kind of marinated with me. What are your thoughts?
So I felt a certain type of way too. Like I remember, we broadcast. We got permission from the estate. We broadcast the funeral in real time,
Oh,
and
wow.
I had asked my boss if I could be the narrator correspondent sort of thing, where I'd say, approaching the podium, Kevin Costner,
Mm-hmm.
kind of between the live simulcast. And I was thinking at the time, so what would her legacy be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we all know, the reality show, the being Bobby Brown, and things later in her career that some may say may have dulled the legacy,
Mm-hmm.
um, happening so close to her passing. And so I would think to myself, so what is going to be the legacy? Because you look at artists like Elvis, who had a very
Mm-hmm.
storied career, and then, there were some missteps prior to passing, but this man is celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
This man is lauded. This man is loved. This man is adored.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I thought to myself, what y'all not going to do
Mm.
is take this black woman who's
Come on.
been meaning so much to so many people
Yes.
and downplay her impact. And I was
Mm.
hoping, as I was sitting there in the studio
Mm-hmm.
narrating my favorite artist's funeral,
Yeah.
that I hope that over time we're able to celebrate her and right this ship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take long, thank God, for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, now we universally celebrate. We didn't get the tribute song, but we got the tributes from Mary. We got the statements from the artists who knew her best. And we're
Mm-hmm.
still
They're
12
still
years.
coming.
We're
Yeah.
still getting it
Yeah.
in a way that we haven't gotten from, Michael, God rest his soul, you
Mm-hmm.
know, comparable to the kind of love that Prince
Mm-hmm.
gets, because Prince has very passionate fans. I mean, they all do. But
Mm-hmm.
the fact that we're still talking about her and celebrating her, like, it's working. It's working. You know what I mean? And the part of me, you know, we're all blessed to be doing what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Quencie, like, you're doing this for a reason. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe I am as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, part of the reason why I'm able to do what I do is to make sure that the legacy is preserved as
Mm-hmm.
a music executive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as
Mm-hmm.
somebody who is a fan of the culture.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to disrespect that.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not going to brush it off and say, well, did y'all see being Bobby Brown? Did y'all? No, we're not going to do that. Like, that's part of the reason why we're in these seats that we're in, to make
Mm.
to make
You know,
sure.
I never thought about that I was in those seat. I just was like, I love her, you
No,
know.
no, it's big. It's bigger than you and I. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's like, that's the reason why, we're in these positions that we're in. Is to, number
Mm-hmm.
one, make sure the legacy is preserved, and two, introduce the legacy
Ooh.
to an audience that may not have been exposed to her. So,
And let me tell you, there's a bunch of, listen, I have spoken, since the pandemic of going live on social media. I have met 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. I have met some young, diehard Whitney Houston fans that I wouldn't even think, some of them were born when she passed,
yeah, yep,
you
yep.
know?
That that
And,
that
and, and, and they know her, like they know her. I remember Shaka Khan saying, I mean, in some clip where she was like, she's actually just as prevalent today as if she's here. She's more popular than some people who are out now, and she's been gone for 12 years. Like, you went to see her at the theater last week.
I saw Whitney in the movies last week. Yo,
that's crazy. Fans get to see her today. Fans get to see her on Sunday. Like, we don't got people today who got movies in the theater of
and
a
the wins,
concert that they did.
Quencie, the wins keep on happening. Remember last year when Billboard had their top list of the greatest pop songs of all time?
What it did? Look,
Who was number one?
I'm wearing the shirt. Yes.
Number one.
Number one.
The number one pop song of all time. Undisputed. It wasn't Madonna.
Come on.
You know, it was Whitney Houston. So that is what you and I are charged with, and countless other fans, is to protect and preserve the legacy. That's why we're in these chairs. You know what I mean? Like when I learned that and accepted that,
you were good.
I got it.
And you've been doing it. You've been doing it. Like to request to be the person, you know, who said at the funeral, like to even be able to go to your boss, you know, the story of the comeback around with the higher love, you know, when they did the Kygo, and something that you had advocated for years ago. Like, that's what it's about. Ulysses Carter says, we at the estate want fans to remember. Oh, hold on. We want fans to remember when you fell in love with her and her talent, not personal situations. But press and the other powers do a different narrative. Yeah, they always do.
They always do. And they always will. And they always will. And you know who's writing that. We all know who's writing that. We all know who's writing the Michael stuff and the Prince stuff and the Whitney stuff. But if you love the culture like you do and like I do, we will always right the ship. Yeah. We will always right the ship. As long as there's, you know, two of us to one of them,
come on.
We're good. We're good.
I mean, we grew up in a golden time where we saw Whitney Houston break. Okay, we saw her when she came out in 1985. Like, that's a gift. Did you ever see her in concert? In ever?
I saw her in concert. Well, outside of the classic Whitney concert, I saw her in the summer of '91 at Merriweather Post Pavilion. It was the I'm Your Baby Tonight tour. In the summer of '91. Okay. So I saw that, and again, effortless.
That's what I've seen her. I've seen her in '91 too.
Just effortless and just having fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just having so much fun on stage, and singing was like breathing. It was just like nothing. It was like nothing. And I remember having so much fun there. So it was that concert. It was the classic Whitney concert. I buried the lead. I saw her at the Michael Jackson tribute concert.
What?
I was there. There were two concerts. There was one.
I know. I went to the second one. She didn't show up, and I'm stuck in New York on September 11th.
No.
But go ahead. Tell me, because you got to see her. So talk about your experience.
I went to the first one that Friday. It was the Friday before the 9/11. It was that concert. My seat sucked, but it's fine. You notice how everybody at concerts watches the screen anyway? Like, you could be in the front row, you still like...
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even matter. You don't watch the screen. So we're watching the screen, obviously with no idea that Whitney's about to come on stage. And I lost it. I lost it. I don't care what anybody says about that damn performance. I lost it.
Cause look,
our queen,
she came out. She meant business.
Our queen was there. Our queen was there. And again, the part of her that's not spoken, she honored Michael.
She did.
She honored her friend. You know what I mean? That gets lost in all the media yip yap. She came to honor her friend, which she always does.
No diss to Usher, who's amazing. No diss to Maya, who's amazing. But did you or did you not feel the entrance of Whitney Houston and the level of the performance rise when she hit?
No disrespect.
That's why I said it
And,
before.
yo, Sherry, it was the walkout for me too. Right. She was like, wait a minute. We got some work to do. Come on, let's go. Boom. Boom. Yo,
Because they was right here. They was giving it to us. Then she came in and she said, "Now let's raise it up a little."
yes. It was giving opening act. That's all I'm gonna
You said
say.
it, not me.
But like, yo, yeah, she killed it,
Yeah.
and the fact that she did it for a friend, like that
Yes.
gets
And you
so
could
lost in the
tell. You
sauce.
could tell her like she was singing the lyrics to
Yeah,
him, and he felt it. He felt her.
yeah, and it's like you could have been Michael Jackson, or you could have been Quencie or Dion. She always showed
Yeah.
that love. Like you know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I know that for a little fact.
Come
You
on.
know, you
Put it up
know,
there one more time. Everybody ain't got one of them. Everybody ain't got one of them. Listen.
yes.
Everybody ain't got one of them or a story to go with it.
She
Okay.
she was as warm here as she was on that stage at Madison Square Garden, as she was with you in the MTV studios. Like that's who she is. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the legacy. Her being this sweet and kind and
Mm-hmm.
open with everyone she came across.
Mm.
That's our job, Quencie, to amplify that.
Yes. And Ulysses said that if fans go out and support, what did he say? They might be able to get it in more days. Let's see. Um, he said something about, well, he said to you, Dionne, you understand the industry and the politics of the other type of artists. Other type in quotes.
Yes, yes. I get the gist of exactly what you're saying, which is why, yeah, yo, that's why we're having a meeting with Sony tomorrow. Because I know,
Mm.
we're gonna do what we can do, what I can do to amplify this movie. Because again, okay, as my favorite artist, I want it to happen, but as an icon of popular music, it deserves to happen,
Yeah.
and it will happen.
Come on. Call it out.
End of story.
Call it out.
End of story.
Call
Like
it out.
it's up to us to amplify our legends. It's up to us to tell the story,
Yeah.
because if not, the story will be told for us.
Mm.
It's up to us to tell these stories. A black woman has 3 diamond albums. A black woman has a 38-year record of consecutive #1 singles. A black woman has the best-selling soundtrack of all time.
All time. That means there's not another one that's better.
No, not Saturday Night Fever, not Grease, none of that.
None of
None of
that.
that. It's up to us to tell these stories. And God bless Michael Jackson. God bless Prince. Their stories need to be told too, and
Oh yeah.
amplified too.
Yeah.
We don't do that, and by we I mean the music industry does not do nearly enough justice in amplifying icons across the board. And take that how you will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've always been my entire career. I've always been the black guy in the black department.
Mm.
So I know of what I speak, and I know of the power behind merging the art and the science of music. The art is this beautiful sounding voice. The science is the numbers and consumption.
Yep.
Like you bring that together, and you know how to steer this ship. And so that's our job. That's our job, to write this ship, to tell people, the importance of seeing this movie. Because, the better this movie does, the more we'll get to see more glimpses into the legacy.
Yeah.
There's so much that the estate will do, but it's predicated on how much support
Us
we
supporting.
give
We
these
gotta
projects.
support it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was natural to me. I was like, yo, Now my South Africa shirt didn't come in soon enough. Hopefully it'll be here before Sunday because I'm gonna go live again so I can wear the actual T-shirt. But yeah, it's important for us to talk about it like we're talking about it. It's important for you to have meetings like you're gonna be having and being willing to speak. Like we met in the comment section, y'all. Okay,
But I've
I
been
didn't know
stalking.
Dion was this big time host. I didn't know he was this big time host on Sirius. I had no clue.
But I've been stalking her for a minute. So, just know that. Just know
Listen,
that.
it's my absolute honor to because you got to go to the premiere, like you said, and the fact that they came from the funeral.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I can never explain properly to you just what that felt like. I was already, because I had no idea they were coming. I'm thinking this is just all media and press, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at 7:25, 5 minutes before the show starts, in walks her family,
Mm.
her, people that worked with her, people that knew her best, people that were in South Africa at the time. My God. Like, that inner circle entered the building, and it was like, yo, the spirit is in this room. The spirit of Whitney
Mm.
Houston, Sissy Houston, Bobby Christina Brown, the spirit of her was in that theater. So you couldn't even help but be like just so ready and engaged. And when you hear it, when you hear those songs, like I said, you'll have your own favorite, I know. My favorite was I Have Nothing because I thought I'd heard it all. I
Listen,
thought
that's my
I heard
song.
every, but no,
And to hear something new with her
yeah,
voice and the way she sings it, I know it's just a treat.
she found something like she did every time. She found something in that song to
Yeah.
be like, boom, I'm
She
gonna
a
give it to him this way this time.
storyteller. She a storyteller. She was telling us a different nuance of the story.
The entire time, and just the nuances. Like again, we've all seen Johannesburg, and it was dope. But the way she'll kind of ad lib, the things she'll say, the smiles she'll give. You know, at the end when she runs from one side of the stage to the other
Yeah.
and gives kisses to the audience.
Yes.
It's different then too. Like
Oh, I love
it's a
it.
whole
I love
new
that for
concept.
us. This is what I'm talking about. I love that for us. I love that for us.
It's a whole new energy. And again, it keeps that legacy going. Like, come on now. Like, these are once in a lifetime uh, talents that
Yeah.
ain't never going to be duplicated.
No. I mean, just look in history, who can you even find to match that level of the crowd that was out there? Like you do have to go to Tina Turner when she was selling out Wembley. You know what I mean? There's only a handful of probably artists, period, on that level. And then once again, she black and female,
It makes you
y'all.
proud.
Yes.
It made me proud. Like I was proud, back in '94 when I was little years old.
Uh-huh.
I was proud then. But
Yeah.
to see it now and be like, oh my God, there's 60,000 people
Thank
in
you.
this huge outdoor arena, and they're all looking at one black woman.
Come on.
Like when you realize
And look at
how
them
intense that is,
songs, Dionne.
huh?
Them song and every song, them songs is hard. Like she giving it 5,000 bill. You know what I'm saying? Just because she Whitney don't mean she probably is not exhausted by the end of that show. Cause
I,
look at how big those songs are. I will always love you. These are big songs. And then you gonna do I want to dance with somebody so emotional and dance. Like, get out of
you
here.
know, being older now, I was like, she ain't sit down yet. Like she literally walked out on stage, to Stevie and did Stevie so emotional. I want to dance. How will I know? And then sit down until like maybe 20 minutes in. She
Yeah.
did one ballad, then stood up again. Like, yo,
And these songs are gigantic. You
yeah,
get what I'm saying?
yeah.
And,
Like,
she's doing a whole concert.
and doing it effortlessly, doing it just
Mhm.
effortlessly. Like when you just realize that, like that is such a God given talent that you don't even understand what you're seeing when you're seeing
Come
it.
on.
You know what I mean? Because at that time we all knew that this woman could deliver. There was
Yeah.
never a doubt that she could, flat-footed singing and all. Thank you, Ulysses. There was never a doubt that she was going to kill it. But she did
Mm-hmm.
every time. Like, she raised the bar every time she took the stage. She raised her own bar, like every single time. So
Look,
when
Ulysses said the record ain't over yet. And ain't. Right, Chrissy?
okay,
Yes, and ain't.
and when you see it, like you'll know, like wow, they were
Yeah.
right. Like I thought I knew. I had no idea. I had
Ooh.
no idea.
Look, y'all are in for a treat, you guys.
Yeah.
You guys who haven't seen it yet, I saw Sophia. It's really Sophia, I think, but she said she was in tears. She just saw it tonight. She lives in New York as well, and so she went to see it. Yeah. Ulysses says I have so many tour stories on the road that I keep near and dear to my heart. I know that's right.
Mm. Mm. I
Go
told
ahead and
you.
write a book, Ulysses. We need
I
to
know.
know.
Ulysses, when is your book coming out, man? I'll have you on the
Yeah.
show, man. I'll have you on the show and everything. Let's go.
Yeah. Get them on the show, Ulysses. Let them spill some beans. You know what I'm
I will
saying?
finish your book in a day too. Let's go. Right.
We need them
Oh
stories. We need them
my
stories.
gosh. Right,
You
right.
know?
And again, it's about writing the ship and setting the legacy the way it's supposed to be set. Like these are the stories that need to be
Mm-hmm.
shared on just how once in a lifetime this talent really is. Present tense.
Mm-hmm. Amen. 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 So again, Dionne, like what can everybody expect when they go see Whitney Houston in concert, South Africa,
So
Durban?
sonically, you're gonna hear crisp, clean, sharp vocals that sounded as if it was done last week.
Mm.
Visually, you will see sharp, fully defined images. You will see Whitney commanding an audience, yet singing directly to you.
Ooh,
Singing to 60,000, but singing to one.
come
You'll see
on.
that, you'll see the beauty of those outfits. I'll be right back, and she'll run off and run back in for the finale, for the encore. Like you'll see all those moments that you saw on HBO in Johannesburg. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this one more time.
Please, for the people in the back.
Okay, in the cheap seats where I was at Madison Square Garden,
Right.
Whitney Houston has never performed the same song the same way twice. So if you're thinking, oh, I saw the South Africa concert, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're gonna you're gonna see a different concert,
Mm-hmm.
because HBO. I mean, unless people manage to channel the HBO performance on a big ass movie screen, no,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna see her differently than you've seen her before. You're
Mm-hmm.
definitely gonna hear her differently than you've heard before, and most importantly, Quencie, you're gonna feel her in a
Mm.
way that you've never felt her before. Because I don't know, the songs hit different now. The songs
Yeah.
hit different. Like the person that said that they cried. You know, I ain't gonna hold you, but I may have blinked a bit when "I Will Always Love You" came on, because I
Mm.
mean it just hits different, and you
Mm.
just know that you're in the presence of this spiritual being who, in a lot of respects, was too good for this world.
Yeah.
And that we were so blessed to have her when we had her. And the
Mm-hmm.
great thing is that through this movie and through the estate, we still have her.
Yeah.
So you're gonna feel it and see it and hear it in a whole new way. For
Mm.
fans, for casual fans, for Uber fans, for new fans. You're just gonna appreciate this black girl from Newark who changed the world.
Change the world.
Period.
Ulysses said they were in 3 sprinters deep that night.
I saw it. They just kept coming in. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And again,
So
just
you got to go. You had a really special moment because you got to see it, before the rest of the world, and you got to see it with her family there right after the homegoing of, the voice that trained the
yeah,
voice.
just to reiterate that moment, that's when I knew that, it was so special, and I was so happy because I had another event earlier that day. I was coming from Queens,
Mm-hmm.
and the traffic was severe. But
Mm.
I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
miss this. And I had no idea that, again, I thought it was just press. And then when you saw, Pat and Gary and Donna and just the family, when you saw the Houstons walk into the building, and then when you saw, oh, is that Ray, the bodyguard? Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wasn't he in the band? Like,
Right.
it's like, where am I?
I love
It's like, where
that.
am I? Like, when you realize, the inner circle is here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the spirit just took over. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was something else. And like I said,
And
like,
they probably needed that after the funeral. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It probably lifted a weight or connected them spiritually in a way that just a regular, you know, what is it, repass would do. This was the repass of all
the repass
repass.
of all repasses, right?
Yeah.
Minus the string beans and the paper plates,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. To see Sissy on stage with Whitney, on that day, that
I
must have hit
I
home.
can't even imagine what the family in the inner circle had, was thinking when they saw Sissy, you know, during Touch the World, like having
Mm.
just laid her to rest. Like,
Mm.
there are no words that can describe that. All I know is that to be blessed to be in the company of that emotion made
Mm-hmm.
me emotional and made me
Mm.
grateful to be, in this building where I know Whitney was also dwelling and loving that moment because everyone was loving on her
Yeah.
and her mother. Like, she was in that building. I don't care what nobody says.
Oh yeah.
She was there,
Oh yeah.
in that theater
Oh yeah.
that night.
Whitney's listen. That's what I always listen. Whitney's around. Whitney is around. Her spirit is so big. She couldn't be that connected to God and not be around, y'all. When y'all hear her music, all the love and everything that she poured into it, it's in there. You
It
know what
is.
I mean?
It is.
And and that's what I say. We all have a date that we don't know that we all have to exit. It's not just Whitney. We all have a day and a time that we have to leave. But what I like people who love her to remember is, what if when she passed, everything went with her? Like, we didn't have the music. What if when you died, your pictures that of anybody you were pictures with, like everything about you died too, and you could not have it.
Wow.
Like, so the fact that even though she's gone, everything that she poured in is still here for us to access it. She still lives. So we need to focus on that and support, this movie, support, any singles or anything coming out. Because that was part of her life, pouring every fiber of who she was into touching us through her art.
She gave it all. Like, she left it
Mm-hmm.
all on stage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
every single time,
Every time.
every performance. And when you discover, when you discover new content like this movie is, it just makes you fall in love all over again.
Come on.
It becomes one of those things that you'll be watching over and over. Like, I got a list, and I'm sure you do too. I got go-to performances that cheer me up. You know what I mean? Last weekend when I was cleaning the crib, I got the vinyl of all of her albums. I pulled out the vinyl of "I'm Your Baby Tonight" and played side two with "I'm Knocking,"
Oh,
"After We Make
come on.
Love,"
And
"I
y'all know she
Belong to
produced
You."
I'm Knocking. Y'all know she produced I'm Knocking. Come on.
Come on now. Yes. 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 So, it just feels good that she just left so much great music and visuals for us to enjoy. So you will love this. You will love this. It's one of the many gifts that she's left to us, and it's amazing. You think you've seen it? No, you
We
haven't.
ain't seen nothing
You
yet.
ain't seen nothing
Oh,
yet. And
you
please
guys are
let me
in for a
know.
treat.
Please let me know what your, like I told you with me, is I Have Nothing. The track that, like, you
Yeah.
know, it blew me away in a way that Johannesburg didn't. And Joburg blew me away. But the spin she put on it in Durban, different,
Wow.
not better, just different. Like,
Different.
wow, she did it
Yeah.
this way this time.
Yeah.
Like, it was the one track that, like, this woman's just incredible. So I want to know what that track is for you when you see it.
Okay. Well, I'm already going to tell you. I'm just partial to I Have Nothing, and I did see a clip online that they had from the show. So yeah, it's probably gonna be the same because that's my listen. That's my song, right? That's my favorite song on the Bodyguard soundtrack.
Yeah. Yep. Mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Mine too. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. People ask for a favorite,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to give them like 5 songs. Um,
Depend on the day how you
right,
feeling.
right. Like I can give you favorites by album, but you're talking an overall list. I'm gonna need some time on that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I Have Nothing.
Ulysses says, listen, Q, ask your fans. They not my fans, Ulysses. They're Whitney Houston fans. To slide up in my DMs to tell me their feelings on the concert film. We at this state want to know. So, hey, you guys see Ulysses down here? He worked with Whitney forever. They share a birthday. Slide into his DMs when you go see the movie and tell him what you think, you know?
Please do. Yeah, it's just very important. If we want more, more great content, we got
And
to
we want
support.
more.
We got to support.
We
Yeah,
do. We
we
do
got to
got to
support.
support. Yeah. And I didn't know that if the support is there like that, it could be amplified. More dates, more stuff, more because they see the demand. Because at the end of the day, it's still a business.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. And it's just so important that we show up for Whitney.
Yeah.
It's just so important that we show up for Whitney.
Yeah.
Period.
We
You know
got
what
to
I
show
mean?
up for our girl,
Yeah.
y'all.
It's critical. And the fact that it's amazing content sells itself.
Yeah.
It sells itself. It's a it's a Whitney Houston concert that you have not seen before, that you're gonna see in full, you know, just visually and sonically, that you've never heard before from her.
And that's to me the main thing that fans have been wanting. So y'all go out and let them know thank you. Thank you for giving us this. You know what I'm saying? Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh. Well, now I know we got somebody as serious who is campaigning for Whitney at all times when possible. So shout out to you, Dionne, for holding down the legends, the icons, especially Whitney, because even though I think because she's so big, it's like her greatness kind of carries herself, but we need to carry her too.
Yes.
We need to hold the torch too. We can't just let it just be what she did. We need to show our love by showing up.
It's a 1,000% true. I've built many artist channels at Sirius. We built channels for for artists from LL Cool J to Garth Brooks to Pearl Jam,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, but building that Whitney channel, we built a Whitney Houston channel that we reactivate from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a legacy of love, and to get artists to talk about their favorite Whitney songs and favorite moments.
Mm.
We had a bunch of super fans that we put on the channel too. Like, again, that's part of our job. That is part of our legacy.
Mm.
And don't get me to go to church. That's part of God's plan.
I hope they reactivated since she's gonna be hitting the 40th year of being in existence. Oh, you look, you already working on it. You are.
So the first album came out in February on Valentine's Day in
1985. Come on.
1985.
Yep.
So if you have Sirius XM, just know what's being planned for our girl on Valentine's Day of 2025. So all I'm gonna say, it's our job. It is our job to keep this legacy alive and vibrant. That's why we're in these positions.
We at the estate love us some Dionne. Oh my gosh, that's
It
awesome.
is
Well,
it is my
they
pleasure.
should,
Trust me.
because listen, we need people in the places and the spaces that you reign. Even if Whitney was alive, she would be thanking you because she understand. She understood. She overstood.
She does. She does. And when that foundation was laid, when when we met for that, for those brief fleeting minutes,
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, God knew, right?
Yeah.
God knew. Like, I'm gonna make sure that your paths cross and that you see that this untouchable, iconic, figure is just as kind and polite and respectful. I'm gonna have you see that, so that later in life, when I have you do what I've called you to do,
Mm,
you will do it,
mm,
and you will love
mm,
doing it because you will know who this woman really is and who she was to you. And you have that
mm.
same story. You have
Yeah.
that same exact story, and so do so many other people. So
Yeah.
that is our
Yeah.
job. That is our job, and
I listen. I didn't even know Dionne, but I guess it is. I guess it is. I accept it. I accept it. I
yep,
accept it.
I
Cause listen,
I gladly wear it.
I see, and that's what's keeping her even stronger. Like having people like fight for those special things, like you said, building the artist channel. And I'm still like tripping because like only people like Elvis have had like this successful afterlife in the culture. And so I'm just hoping that Whitney continues to have this, even go higher and higher because she did stuff that just it's not going to be topped. It's going to take a long time for somebody to even get close to them numbers. Okay.
You know, how good I feel when I see like a TikTok post or an IG post of people rocking out to like I want to dance for somebody at like karaoke or,
Same.
or like a wedding reception.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like those things, you know, it warms my heart. It makes me know that like, yo, the legacy's gonna be all right.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? The legacy's
Yeah.
gonna be all right. Like
Yeah.
we will continue to rock out to this woman forever.
Forever. Forever. Well, any last words, Dionne? This has been great. Like, you know what I'm saying? I lived a very lonely Whitney Houston fan life in my early years. I was the fan club president. It was just me. It was just me. And I was cool with that, okay? I sang down the hallways. It was me. They knew I loved Whitney. Call me Whitney, okay? Call me, yeah. Like, but it was just me. So to be able to connect with another human and many of the Nippy cousins that follow my pages has just been an absolute joy.
No, first I will say this has been a dream of mine because I know how brilliant you are as a storyteller, as an
Aww.
interviewer, as a fan of the culture, number one, and more importantly, a fan of our girl. You know, so I knew that once you and I eventually connected, that it would be dope. Like I knew this would be a great conversation because I've been following you enough to know that you are a sincere person who wants the best for her legacy and knows your stuff. So first, thank you for allowing me onto your platform
My
because I
honor.
loved this conversation. I want to continue this conversation. This has
Yes.
been great. Much like yourself, I was a lonely Whitney fan also. You know,
For real?
yo, my friends were all like Team Janet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always the one being like, no, don't say that. No, 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 stop.
Yep.
I was always, always. And I feel like now,